Hello everyone, and welcome to the new series called sdudes Story. Series where I review and go over some of the previous cars I've owned and some of the ups and downs that came along with owning them. But to start us off, this episode is on the Mitsubishi Starion, or Chrysler Conquest if you're in the States. So let's get started. This particular Starion picture is the first car I actually ever owned, which I bought when I was 14 years of age. And at the time I thought it was the bee's knees. It was just awesome. So I've been sitting in a mate's backyard for a number of years, and as soon as I saw it, I just fell in love with the shape. And yeah, I just knew that I had to have it. 700 bucks of paper route and pocket money later, it was mine. The 1982 JA Mitsubishi Starion. Once I purchased it, I also was given a CD full of old photos and videos of the car, which used to run the plates Accelerate. Intrigued I looked into it a bit more, and it turned out it was a pretty nice street car, which ran low 13s from memory. Added to the whole cool factor of the car, seeing that it had some history, and just made it that little bit extra special. Due to time, knowledge, and limited funding, and an available 2.6 litre single overhead 4G54 Mitsubishi Sigma motor lying around, that motor was put into the rolling shell with a 5-speed box instead of the 4G63 turbo, because the original motor was gone. It wasn't with the car, nowhere to be found. And the twin cam, which was previously in it under Accelerate, it blew up, so I didn't have the funds to rebuild it at the time. So after the engine was in and the gearbox I slapped in during pouring down with rain, it was ready for the road. It was alive, it sounded good, it was torquey, it was quick, and it was one badass first car. Starting up for the first time will always be a moment I remember, because I was literally just screaming of excitement, pouring fuel into the car for the first time, hearing it roar up, no exhaust, anything, it was loud as, it was just awesome. The car had rear-wheel drive, 5-speed manual, leather interior, factory aircon, factory power windows, pop-up freaking lights, factory limited slip differential, and other Jap goodness. Many of you are probably thinking why I didn't put the turbo motor back in down the track. Literally, I drove the car. Every time I drove it, put a smile on my face, and that's all that mattered to me. I was having a good time, and that's why I liked it. So the Mitsubishi Starion came in both a wide body and a narrow body, or we like to say fatty or flatty. So mine being Australian delivered JA, it was the narrow body, a flatty. Chrysler Conquest were, I could be wrong, but I think they were all wide bodies. They also got the Mitsubishi Starions there in the States. Over in Japan, they also got the wide body and the narrow body. There's only one wide body Mitsubishi Starion here in South Australia, which goes to show you just how rare they are. Now my particular Starion wasn't the prettiest. It was rattle can black, which at the time, young me thought it was a good idea. Big no nowadays, just because it looked tacky and crap. So if I owned it today, it would get some more love and it would look completely different to how it used to. Driving experience in this Starion, or this particular Starion, was like no other car I'd driven before. It was just fantastic. It was amazing, it was simple, 100% of the time I felt in control and know what the car was doing, and the steering and pedal response was just fantastic for a 30-year-old car. Everything was tight and it felt like a race car on the street at the time. It was an incredible car that I do miss and will always remember the good times that I had with it. But in saying that, there was some bad times. To start with, there was rust, mainly in the bonnet, bottom of the front fenders, and around the hatch and fuel flap. And I'm sure a few other places that I didn't end up finding. But the car was great when it ran. So the 30-year-old wiring definitely showed its age. A lot of the time, stuff just would not work. Alternators, starter motors, ground wires, they would all just be not necessarily anything wrong with them, just not working as it should. A lot of the time, the car would just sit because it just would not start. The thing with the Mitsubishis I've owned is they all have their little like gremlins. So What I mean by that is you either get one that's problem-free, runs mint, you can drive it for thousands of Ks and never have a problem, or you get one where there's a lot of little problems, where one thing will lead to another and you'll just never end. You're always working on it, nothing, it's never going to be right. I drove and loved that first car though to the day that it decided just no more. The radiator wasn't keeping the engine cool enough, so the engine block cracked near the oil temp sensor, which pissed out oil, and it blew a head gasket. So here I was sitting on the side of a busy main road, helpless pretty much. I called up my dad, got him to come down, and we managed to start it back up again and get it home. Sadly, that same week, it was on the back of the tow truck on its way to scrap because I just didn't have the time, resources, knowledge to keep it back on the road, and it wasn't in the best condition. All in all, the Mitsubishi Starions are fantastic cars that you would love if you just take the time and effort to keep them on the road and keep them in a good condition. You'll have your hard times and a lot of problems along the way, but that's just part of the Starion journey that makes it what it is. It will make you enjoy every drive that you do get to actually take it out, and you'll create lots of good and bad memories, but ones that you look back on and just laugh at, which is all part of the Starion life. If you ever get the chance to own or drive one, I would definitely recommend it. You won't be disappointed because it's a driving experience like no other. They are their own car, it's great. It's hard to explain, but you just got to. There was one time where me and my brother got in the shopping centre, out in the car park, and inside the shops we hear a call on the big PA system saying, oh, if you drive the black Celica, blah blah blah. They didn't mention the plates. Can you come out to the car park? And we didn't think much of it. We heard it the third time and we're like, oh crap, maybe that's my car, because there was no badges. So we went out there and the car, apparently the handbrake wasn't on enough and it rolled into another car because it was on a slight hill. But there was no damages and it was fine. What I'm trying to say is, if you're going to own a Starion, you're going to have to get used to it being called with other cars. I've heard RX-7, Celica, A86, DeLorean, Fox Body Mustang, even though we don't get them here. The list just goes on, it's ridiculous. Let me know if you like this episode of Corey's Stories. Let me know what you think of the Mitsubishi Starion. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you have any experiences with them yourself? I'd love to hear. So thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.